Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. Mark, this is our live call-in show, yay?
It is. And we're kicking off the month of March. This is a very momentous month. And I just want to take a moment. Normally, I don't wear ties, but I
saw that.
I know Dr. Pat's like,
Should I go get my tie? I can go get mine.
Well, these are the Ukrainian colors.
Yes, they are.
So I wore the blue and the yellow because my heart, and I think I speak for everyone at Transformation Talk Radio, that our hearts go out to the Ukrainian people. And if anyone in Ukraine is listening, you are in our thoughts and prayers, and like I said, we support you in your struggle.
I want to talk about mention for a minute while we're getting the phones here for everybody. This is a live call-in show, 1-800-930-2819. This is where we do readings. We give you some insights, whatever it is that we can help you to rise up. This is, show is about March Magic. We're going to talk about magic quite a bit. I'm really struck by the fact that we have more shows now in the history of 20-year, right, where more hosts either have magic, alchemy, or something in what they do, whether they're talking about personal wisdom or they're talking about the magic. But then Tracy Lynn did a fabulous show, but it's in the air. Now, why is that important in Women's History Month? I want to really piggyback on what you said, and thank you for wearing those colors today.
Thanks.
Recently, we partnered with a magazine, and I'm going to mention it today because I have family over in Europe, right? Many people do. And there has been very little magazine types that really tell their story. There's a new one though, Mark, and it's called Continental Magazine. It's about Central Europe, but it talks about some really cool things. It's the Continental Literary Magazine. It's continentalmagazine.com. And to be honest with you, my only real affiliation with that is I love what they're doing. I love what they're bringing out. But this is Women's History Month. And I want to ask you a question. Have you been following the women in the Ukraine?
Absolutely.
Let me just get on that for a minute.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm going to say something. We're not in a war country as we know it. We're not like Ukraine. But the picture that I saw, I'm going to try to get it to Jacob real quick. I'm going to just get the website to Jacob. The picture I saw is so like my friends over there, where we can talk about getting our nails done. and you got a picture of a woman from the Ukraine. I don't know if it's an MK-47. I don't know what it is, but it is so representative of how women rise up. Now, let me just say something.
Yeah.
Mark and I, we can't tell you how sad this is to us. So even though you may see a picture from the Post, I think it was from the Post or the Times, that we may be able to show you today about the women of the Ukraine. I thought in my lifetime, Mark, I thought we were done with this stuff. I don't know. I live in a bubble.
Well, you know, I was always hoping that we'd never see another European war, because, you know, war anywhere is absolutely horrible, unacceptable. But when you start dealing with major industrialized countries, and with ones that have nuclear weapons, whenever there's been a European war, it turns into a world war. And so we're all walking on very thin ice right now. And, you know, the women of Ukraine are just amazing, the way they are responding to the call. And, you know, the other night at the State of the Union address, there was something, and I'm paraphrasing what President Biden said. He said one thing the Russians didn't count on was the Ukrainian people. And, and, you know, the Ukrainian people, I know I've got a lot of Ukrainian friends, and they're the nicest people in the world, but you don't screw with them. And, you know, these are people who resisted Napoleon. These are people who resisted Kaiser Wilhelm, who resisted Adolf Hitler. And they've been an independent country now for 30 years. And they're not just fighting. Politics has very little to do with it. They're fighting for their families, for their children, for their very existence. And the women, you know, in World War II, the Russian used female troops. And let me tell you, there was no hesitancy. I mean, you see women out there like, teach me how to use AK-47. And it's like, all right. And, you know, not that I idolize violence or war, but when your home is under attack, you know, the women of Ukraine are right there by the men, equal, and fighting for their children, for their homeland, for freedom. And that's amazing.
Yeah, there was a special on CBS. I just want to talk to it for a minute, where there were Ukrainian women giving birth during the invasion. There was a whole special on how the women had to come together to have babies during the middle of the invasion. And that's what I'm trying to say. I didn't think I would see again in my lifetime, with little or no counter effects.
Right.
Yeah, I get it. But we're here to talk about some March magic so that we can do, you know, we can do like my friend in the Lynn McTaggart in the intention experiment. She just did an intention experiment on the Ukraine. And I think if we can bring that together, and that power and that strength, and set that intention, you know, people, all of us, will find a place in our heart to hold that space, the space for survival. But honestly, for me, and talk about the Ukraine, I mean, they put up with our nonsense. What was it, a year ago or 2 years ago, when they got in the middle of our political debates and system?
Yeah.
But it's still so shocking and sad as hell. And I think that's why we do the shows we do, Mark, is because we want to celebrate people. You know, we want to celebrate, you know, this is Women's History Month in the United States. We want to take the time to celebrate that. I have relatives that were like, what is that? That were in those boats in World War II. The war boats? They were riveters.
Yeah.
Because my relatives were small, right? Back then, our relatives like teeny, and they could fit in the boat with the welding and the
Rosie the Riveter. Yeah,
no,
you know, women built the weapons, the airplanes, they worked on the ships, they made the munitions. And you know, that was one of the reasons that at that time the United States could outproduce any other country. And the Germans did not believe in allowing their women to work in factories. So, it's interesting how these totalitarian dictatorships tend to discount the value of women. But, this is not over. And I pray that something or someone gets through to Mr. Putin to realize that you got to call this off.
Yeah. My mom and my uncles were born in a war zone. I grew up with relatives that understood what that meant, right? And they came over here, some of them not directly, but they came here because of the hope of who we are. And boy, today's show, I want to hold on to that hope of who we are, because I don't take 1 minute for granted of the fact that we can do a show like this, right? What's the worst that's going to happen to me and you probably from a show like this? Probably get a few emails, probably. So I don't know. But the entire network, Transformation Network, was built upon the foundation of transformative hope and action. And we have to be able to stop for a minute and take a moment to acknowledge the greatness of people, even if we do a show that has to do with readings from beyond, because I have a funny feeling some of my relatives who did fight in wars like this may show up in here, either, invited or uninvited.
Well, I will say this about women who take up arms. There's a saying, well-behaved women seldom make history. So, and I think right now there's a lot of very not well-behaved women in the Ukraine, and for very good reason. So once again,
have you read the stories of Natalie Portman and Gal Gadot? I mean, when you think about these two women, especially what is it, Wonder Woman? These people served in the Israeli army, and there's no question about that. But it's very difficult for me, who's been through a couple of these, to not understand the pain of it, right? We've been very fortunate here in the United States. Some of us have relatives that lost their lives in Pearl Harbor, lost their lives in the war.
Yeah.
But I can't even imagine what it would be like if one day the Canadians decided we're going to be the United States of Canada. I mean, realistic or not, I can't even imagine conceptually what that would feel like. Crazy.
And what this has shown us is it can happen to you. Because 2 weeks ago, the Ukraine was a prosperous, peaceful, carefree country. And, people get into, because I've made a few comments. I try not to get political, but people are saying, oh, they have a corrupt government, all this. And all it made me think of something Gandhi said. Most people would prefer their own bad government to the benevolent government of an alien power. So, so good for good or for ill, each country has the right to select their own government. And the Ukrainians have selected freedom. So power to them, and for all of our Ukrainian brothers and sisters. And, I would like also to say to all of the people in Russia who are protesting, they're being arrested and jailed, something like 3 years to 6 years in jail for people. It takes a lot of guts in Russia to stand up and oppose the government. So, this is not, oh, the Russians hate this. This all emanates from imperialistic desires of an ego-driven personality. And the good people in Russia are standing against this. And a lot of the Russian soldiers, like there was a communique that had been intercepted. This one Russian soldier said, well, who do we shoot? They look like us. So a lot of the Russian soldiers are like, we don't want, it would be like Canadians coming and shooting America.
That's why I use that analogy.
Yeah, we look like them, we dress like them, sometimes we even talk like them. But the thing is, Earth needs to get to the point where we have to realize war isn't the answer. And I know I'm quoting Gandhi a lot, but He said, there is no path to peace. Peace is the path.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's just be clear on what we're talking about, and then we're going to go to break and come back and go to the phones. You know, what we're seeing now, which thank you for the internet. That's all I want to say. Because when we were going through Vietnam, there wasn't this. But when you can arrest an elderly woman on the streets of Russia and it be videoed, and believe me, it's out there being videoed.
Yes, it is.
We are now up to 6,000 arrests. That is not the Russia of 10 years ago. So I have to step back and I have to say with hope that maybe the cries of freedom have even reached as far out as countries like Russia. Maybe we're seeing people, as we did in China, as we have seen in our own country.
Right.
Because freedom of speech in so many ways is the foundation of our country. When we come back, we're going to get you all involved in freedom of speech right here. We're going to get you to get on the phone here. We're going to come back from break. We're going to go right through the top. Mark and I are going to go through very quickly today because we want to get as many folks as we can. But again, happy Women's History Month. Yo, we'll be right back. We're back, everybody. Mark and me. He looks so good. God, I love that color on you, Mark. Oh my gosh.
You know, it's
wow.
Yeah, since I've been doing the work with mediumship, I haven't been wearing ties so much. And
I thought you were going to say underwear. Look, I'm gonna watch Mark turn like red. Watch Mark. Look at this. This is what's going. Look at it. He is gonna be. You're gonna have to adjust his color.
I am wearing blue and yellow underwear. No, but yeah, you know, like I said, I just wanted to show support, and I saw, okay, I got this shirt, I got this tie, so you know.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh.
We're going to go to the phones. We're taking your calls, 1-800-930-2819. Also, Jacob is monitoring that's not the right word. Jacob is watching your comments on Facebook. And if you are commenting and have a question, we'll bring it on through Jacob, of course. Jacob, who do we want to go to first?
Yep. First up, we've got Sway calling in from Florida. Hi there, Sway.
Hi, Sway.
Hi. So this was definitely spirit connection. I connected to Mark's frequency about 3 days ago on a podcast called My Seven Chakra. Do you remember that?
I remember doing the podcast, I think like a month or so ago.
It's a replay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So spirit, can you hear me?
Oh, great. We can hear you wonderfully.
Oh, wonderful. So I tuned into that about 3 days ago, literally was in my living room and heard, look up Mark Facebook right now. So I did just right before calling in. And I thought I was just calling in to listen to a show, had no idea that Spirit wanted me to speak to both of you, obviously. So I just want to start by saying thank you so very much how you opened the show and connected our hearts to the need to pray and to just hold space, especially for the women and the children. So thank you.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Thank you, Sway.
And, you know, we love doing this show. We got this idea to do this, I don't know, about a year ago. And, you know, the greatest challenge we have, Sway, is that our listeners want us to do more than 1 hour, and we're working on that. How can we help you today?
But I'm curious. Do you know why Spirit connected me with you tonight?
I tell you what I do know. There's always a reason. I'm going to see what Mark has to say about that first.
Well, I look at everything as like I explained in the Afterlife Frequency, my latest book. Things like this, I call it spiritual synchronicity. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they don't always let me in on why this, what has brought you here. So what can we do for you tonight?
Well, So maybe you can help me understand. I am I believe, Palladian. I speak light language, and I lift my frequency that way. Is there something that Spirit says about sharing that?
Yeah. Can I tell you? Can I jump in before Mark?
Yeah, absolutely.
While Mark gets, when you get that Palladian message, right? You know what I'm saying, Sway? So
I'm 100%.
I'm going to break it down as like practically as I can, because it's not a practical level of communication. How long have you been getting that? May I ask?
Probably about 7 years now.
Okay. 7. The number is 7.
Yes.
That's it. Okay.
Yes.
So here we go. I'm going to give you the short version and then I'll try to talk about it later. You're in a 7 year from most spiritual philosophies, right? 7 year is, in levels of Christianity, it's abundant and prosperous year, right? When you look at the planets and the alignment that's going on, especially like this new moon and what's going on, there's an activation calling. Not just for you, but if you were to look at what we're doing, what I'm doing with the network and our expansion into 7 new channels, then what would be the message in this? The message would be, and I'm going to turn you over to Mark in a minute. I got to be blunt. I'm from New York. Why are you holding it back? That's what Kiss came through to ask you. I don't know if that's true. Do you know why
you
you're
are
holding
spot on?
back? Okay. You don't have to answer on air. You don't have to talk about this in public, but you get what I'm saying, don't you? Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I hold back because I'm afraid of what others would think. Yeah.
Yeah. The pathway is going to be given to you to bring this out. It's a way. What am I hearing? To bring this out in an abstract yet practical way over the next 3 months. So please pay attention to what's being given you. Don't discount, because you go like, do you go like this? Do you go, no? Do you go like, no? Do you go like, not now or something?
No, I don't. I practice it just in my car, or when it starts to come through, I just gift it to the universe in the air.
Yes,
Frequency.
but in
Just gift it,
private.
but
in private, right?
It's private, and I yearn to see other souls' eyes.
Okay.
While I'm doing it. I know I've done it in like a crystal palace is the way they showed it to me.
Yep. It's time for you to start to explore this.
If I can interject.
Yes, please. Thank you. Thank you.
Sway, don't do this in your car when you're driving.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm very serious about that, because the way brainwave frequency works, there's 5 different brainwave frequencies. Gamma is ultra high. That's like when you're on Jeopardy, ultra high functioning. Then there's beta, which is the awake conscious state and enables you to drive, operate a car. Hold on. Let me finish. Hold on. Let me finish. Then there's alpha, and then there's theta. And the thing about alpha is that's a meditative state, and theta is dream state. And psychic activity occurs on the alpha alpha theta border, and actually the beta alpha border. And if you start going into a daydream state when you're driving, you can cause a horrible accident. So if you get that, pull over somewhere. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do not start engaging in psychic activity when you're driving. And so the message is that you're a healer, and you need to do this by listening and by facilitating peace and non-intervention. That's a weird term, but I keep getting non-intervention. So the way you're supposed to heal is by not being assertive about it, but being a healer and by being a listener. So I'll leave that with you.
Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you. That was very important. Thank you, both of you.
It was.
Thank you so very
much. I want to leave you at one thing, because I'm always about giving people action items, right? That's why they usually say, I want to talk to Mark. But
I appreciate it.
I want to give you an action item. It's apparent that this is time. Now, I don't know how to fill in the blank, but I want you to start doing the medium that works for you. If you write, write. If you draw, I draw. If you draw, draw. If you doodle, doodle. Right? And every time you put it on paper, say thank you. And at the end of 31,
I actually write my light language. So what you're saying is spot on.
exactly. At the end of 31 days, 31, 31, 31, 31. Okay.
Yeah.
At the end of 31 days, step back from it and identify 7, remember 7 pertinent messages.
Wow.
Just 7. Can you do that?
Forever grateful. Thank you, both of you.
Yeah,
Thank you for everything.
yeah.
Thank you for your light.
Thank you,
Thank
Sway.
you.
Thank you.
you.
We want to hear from you in 31 days, please. Thank you. Oh my God, I love that. That was so good. Great advice, Mark.
Yeah, a lot of
Great
people,
advice.
they say that, oh, I'm getting messages and I'm doing it here and doing it. It's like, whoa, 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 time, place, and manner. Okay. As a psychologist, okay, you realize that, don't have a major emotional breakthrough when you're driving in traffic. If you feel it coming on, pull over. So, a lot of people also, it's best if you engage in these activities in the appropriate environment, where you can focus and give all your attention to it. So thank you, Dr. Pat.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Let's go to the phones. Jacob, who do we have next?
Yeah, sounds good. We've got Donna calling in from New York. Hi there, Donna.
Hi, Donna.
Hi, hi, Dr. Pat. Hi, Mark.
Hey, Donna.
Hey.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. How's New York?
Oh, it's pretty nice today. We had some cold weather, but it seems to be warming up.
I love it. How can we help you?
Yeah. We're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of my husband's passing, and I'd like to know if he has any messages for me.
Okay, let's see what we got here. Now, normally when I do one-on-one readings or group readings, I always go through an orientation, because sometimes the person that you want to hear from the most is not the first one to step through. But that being said, I am getting a male energy coming through associated with you, and I'm getting this odd sensation on my heart. Now, obviously, everybody's heart stops. Everybody's heart stops when they die, but the sense that I'm getting here, it's almost like a tearing. It's a tearing, and it feels like the aorta is coming apart. It almost feels like, as opposed to blockages in the heart, which are typical of a heart attack, this feels like his heart valve was coming detached, and I'm getting a tremendous taste of blood. So this could have been a bleed out, but this could be an internal hemorrhage as well. Does any of that make sense to you?
That's exactly what it was.
That's what happened. Okay, so then we got your husband, and did he? I feel like I want to chew a lot of gum. I'm like this. Are you a gum chewer, or was he the gum chewer?
He was.
He was? Okay. Yeah, he's like chewing on the gum. Love you, honey. Love you, honey. Love you, honey buns. Love you, honey. Love you, honey. Love you, honey buns. He keeps saying that, and it's funny because not only is he saying he loves you, but I'm tasting, like a honey bun, like a big hot cinnamon bun with that sugar melting on it, fresh from the bakery. And I'm tasting that, and the cinnamon is just resonating through me. And he wants to give you a honey bun.
Oh my God.
I'm laughing because this guy is awesome.
I miss him so much. I miss him so much.
He knows that, and that's go ahead.
I feel him around me, and I keep seeing all these signs, and it's comforting, but it's different. It's not like having him physically here.
And that's an important point. And if I could, Donna, I want to say something, then I want to get Dr. Pat's insights on this, because we talked about this a lot. You said something very important. it's comforting to make the spiritual connection, but it's not the same. And in my work that I do, I try to help people understand that when a loved one dies, absolutely, you're going to grieve that person for the balance of your life, but your relationship goes from one of a physical nature to one of a spiritual nature. So the contact is still there, but it's different. So I want to get Dr. Pat's insights on this.
Yeah. You know what I feel, Donna?
Yes.
Oh my God, I think I'm going to cry.
Hello?
I'm sorry. I'm trying to get a hold of myself.
Okay.
I feel this indescribable love that you both had. See, I can't even find the right words for it. Do you know what I mean, Donna? Yeah. So I totally understand your heart and how your heart feels the missing.
Yes.
But it's a very special love. But the time that you had together and the time even now, right? That kind of love is so special. And that's what I want to say. Hold on to the love. There are not words that really can describe it. Do you know what I mean, Donna?
I do. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And find moments to celebrate it. Every time I say this, I get a dozen emails from people. There are ways to celebrate it. For example, Mark just named something, incredible. I almost want to run out and get a cinnamon bun myself right now, right?
I know.
Because he's describing it and I could taste it. But there are so many ways to celebrate it. I don't get the sense, and I don't usually say this, Donna, so you should know this. I don't usually say this. A lot of times when folks call in, they're at a place where they're so in a grieving process that for me to say, celebrate this, take a moment, would be totally not something they could do. But you can do it because your energy on this call says you can do it.
I understand that because that's exactly how I felt when he first met.
Okay.
Just consumed by grief. And I've been trying to do things to honor him, to celebrate him.
Yep.
And
Donna, could you hold your phone a little bit closer? You're breaking up.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this better?
Yes, much better.
Yes.
But you found a way to celebrate him.
I feel almost as if at peace a little bit.
That's
it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, Donna, Dr. Pat's absolutely right when she was talking about let go of the sorrow, but never let go of the love for the person who died. That's the theme of my first book, Never Letting Go, which is a guide on the journey.
Yes, I know, grief. I have it.
Yeah. And it talks about the firsts. Okay. You're at the first anniversary. So you've been going through the first. Now the seconds aren't a picnic either, but now you kind of know what to expect. And everything that you're saying sounds very, very normal. In other words, you have accepted his physical passing. And through that acceptance, you're beginning to find inner peace. So I think you deserve a pat on the back. Okay, you need to pat yourself on the back. I mean, he came through, just laughing and filled with love to cheer you up. And apparently is there a connected to you or him a Walter, a Wally, or a Walter, or someone with the last name like Walters?
Walter.
Yeah.
Walter.
There is?
Yes.
Yes,
there is.
Yes. Yes. Okay. How's Walter connected to you?
Well, there are actually two Walters, one on this side and one on the other side.
Okay. So the one
on the other,
yeah, go ahead.
The one on the other side, he worked with my husband.
there you go. So see, your husband's with Walter, okay? And I don't know, they are cracking me up. They're talking about your toothbrush. I know we all have toothbrush. Did you just get a new toothbrush, or do you need to get a new? They're talking about you and your toothbrush.
My son and I just went to the dentist, and they gave us, those the toothbrushes, the whole little package when you when you leave, and I put everything away. And the other day, my son is like, "Where are those new toothbrushes that the dentist gave us?"
Okay, woohoo! So
man,
this
Mark.
is this is when spirits bring up things like this to let you know that they're around you and aware of what's happening in your life. And you got the toothbrushes, you put them away, and your son's like, well, where are these toothbrushes? So your husband's saying two things. Number one, I'm around, I'm aware of what's happening. And number two, hey, why aren't you using the new toothbrushes? So I think that the contact like this, it brings it down to a very, very personal and human level. So he is definitely explaining that he is and always will be part of your life, but that your relationship is now one of a spiritual nature. So, wow.
I love it. Thank you so
I
much.
needed that affirmation.
Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you so much for calling in. Really. Thank
you. God bless you.
Thank you, both of you.
Oh,
and I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're both. What courage.
Yeah.
I love it. Mark, toothbrushes. Oh my gosh.
It's, when people, like we were talking about nasty messages, people, oh, you're cold reading. Really? Like, I'm going to fling out toothbrush hoping to get a hit. It's like, come on, people. I can't make this stuff up.
Well, cinnamon buns and toothbrushes.
Toothbrushes.
Jacob, who do we have next?
Yeah, we've got Tama calling in from Wisconsin right now.
Hi, Tama.
Looks like she's
Hello.
Hi, can you hear us okay?
Pardon?
Can you hear us okay?
Yes.
Okay, if you're on a headset.
I was just turning my.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right, there we go.
Yep, good. Do we have you like with the phone now?
Yes.
How can we help you today?
Well, I've lost a few people, but my most recent is my favorite sister, and it's almost 3 years, but her birthday is coming up, and her birthday for me was always more exciting than my own. I was just wondering if maybe
okay,
there's anything that she.
Okay.
Sure.
Let us see what we can do to help you, Tama. Thank you for calling in.
Okay, Tama, I'm getting a female energy coming through, and first thing is my teeth are killing me, particularly on the right side, upper jaw. My teeth, molars in the back are hurting. Now, this could indicate either you're having some dental issues that she's aware of, or she may have had problems with her teeth. But focusing on her, I feel my fingers are icy cold, my feet are icy cold. So this is an indication that the female energy who's coming through, that prior to passing, she was having serious circulation issues. And it's like, I'm trying to breathe. And it's almost like my lungs are constricted. And so this person had a major pulmonary disease, problem with the lungs, and my throat hurts. It's hard to swallow. So the female energy who's coming through to me, to recap, getting a lot of problems with the lungs, the circulatory system, and also my teeth are just really hurting bad. Does any of this make sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, in what way?
Makes sense with my sister. My sister, when she passed, she it was sudden, and she just kind of just stopped breathing.
Okay.
And
okay.
She had just gotten dentures not too long before that.
Oh, okay. All right. So now we know that we've got her, because we've got the physical profile. She was hilarious. She was funny. Yeah. Okay. And she could come out with some zingers at times. Okay. I'm gonna, since we're a G-rated sort of kind of show, I'm gonna hold back on some of the things that she's saying. What she thinks, how'd you like to bite my beep, you know? And she's just so funny about that. And yes, obviously her birthday is coming up, but she said something very important just happened with you, like within the last week. Did some major event, something go on with you just recently?
Yeah, actually, I reconnected with somebody from my past, and it's obviously a man, and
it's a complicated situation. Yeah, she said. She said, "Okay, you're in a rowboat. Paddle it slow." She's not saying no, but she's saying paddle it. What's with all these rhymes? She's not saying no, but paddle it slow. So basically, this reconnection is a good thing. She wants you to take it slow. And this is part of the message that you asked for. Not only that, but she said it's time that you feel happiness in your life. And I mean, it's not just, in the wake of her passing. What she's telling us, Tama, telling you through me, is you have not been happy for a long time, and that's out of character for you. She said, because you were always that carefree, that fun, that kind of giggly girl, and now it's like there's this cloud raining on you all the time. And she said, now it's up to you to get that cloud to dissipate. That's the message.
That makes a lot of sense.
Dr. Pat, this sounds like your insights are needed here.
Yeah, I just want to say a couple things. I want to go to this new reconnection. How do you feel about that?
About the
person you're reconnecting with.
The whole thing.
Yeah, that person you're reconnecting with, whoever that is, I don't know. You don't have to go into detail, but how are you feeling about that?
I'm feeling good about it, but it makes sense about the rowboat and take it slow, because I'm kind of one of those people that jumps a little too fast. She was always reminding me to go slow.
Yeah, don't get the U-Haul. Don't go out and get the U-Haul tomorrow, okay?
Good advice, Dr. Pat.
Yeah, that was my sense of it. Anytime there's a reconnection in relationships, at least from my experience of people I work with, the reconnection relationships require special attention. Now, I made it work for me. But the reconnection thingy, that took some work and time. Now there's reconnection because it's a buddy or somebody you knew, or it's reconnection because it's an ex. Those are not the same things. And you don't have to talk about it on air, but I will say this: if it's a reconnection with an ex or a friend, it doesn't matter. I don't know how long it's been since you connected. You have to take the time to catch up. Do you see what I mean?
Okay.
You have to take that time.
Definitely.
You can't assume that the person you knew X amount of years ago is that person, right? Because I'm sure you're not the same person, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, I know. I had to clean up my act too. But in the scheme of things, you have to really enjoy the process of getting to know each other. Do you see what I'm saying? You have to really, it's like we were talking to our previous caller. There's a celebration about the reconnection, but there's also a ritual about reconnecting. Got it?
Yes, I do. And that's really good to hear, because I think I needed it.
Yeah. Seriously, don't go get the U-Haul. Right?
But I'm sorry.
Right.
Go ahead, Mark.
No, Dr. Pat, that is such good advice. Don't get the U-Haul. But, and you're right. We're not the same people that we were 10, 20, or however many years ago. And what her sister said is row the boat
Row the
slow. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm not saying no, but row the boat slow, because the two of you've got the foundation of the past, but now this is a whole new ball game. And I think that's what Dr. Pat's saying.
Yeah. Can we take that metaphor? Can I
Yeah.
just tell you a little bit about rowing a boat? Have you ever rowed a boat? Because where you live, it's pretty cold. But have you ever rowed a boat? Have you ever done any rowing in a boat?
Yes, I have.
All right. So let me use this metaphor. You know, and I know that if you are going to row a boat, one, you have to be methodical. Two, you have to learn some technique. Three, you have to pay attention to detail. Four, you have to be consistent, right? Are you following me on that? And five, you have to always be alert for rough waters.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm not saying
Yeah,
that
that makes a lot of sense. I get that.
Okay, so take take your sister's advice and really look at that closely, right?
Right.
Okay.
I'm
This
going
time
to.
you have
Yeah,
to take care of
that's
yourself.
going to help.
Yeah, you got to take care of yourself this time around. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for calling in. Please check in with us. Okay. Tell us how tell us how the rowing is going. Okay.
Okay. I
All
will
right.
do that.
Thank you.
Thank both of you.
You know, and if I could throw one last thing in with your sister's birthday coming up, what did she like to do? And the reason I'm saying this is for a couple of years after my mom passed, I used to meet my sister, and we would go to this church. It's actually a basilica that my mother really liked, and we go there and light some candles, and then we would do things that she liked to do that day. So we'd go light some candles at this basilica, because Mom was more about the aura of the church as opposed to listening to, you know, the dogma. And then we'd go to Bloomingdale's because she liked going shopping. And then we'd go out for a big Italian lunch. and we'd order stuff that we knew that my mom liked to eat. And we did this for like 3 years in a row after she passed. And it just felt right. And, you know, maybe you don't want to do that, but sometimes, you know, when we're missing somebody, do something, you know, do something that they like to do, and that will draw their presence to you. So that's,
thank you. Thank you so much. Wow. Thank you. What a great show. Mark, I want to piggyback around to how we started the show, because we really do need prayers.
Yes.
32 minutes ago, perhaps at the time we started the show, the Russian troops began to shell the nuclear power station, one of the largest in Europe. This is just crazy. And so when you look at that kind of behavior, and I'm thinking if you're Angela Merkel hanging over there in Germany, if you're her, you're probably thinking to yourself, what? Russian troops shelling a nuclear power station. We all must really pray. We must pray. And that's really why you and I started the show.
Yeah.
And it's shocking that there's that level of either anger or stupidity that you would do something like that in the 21st century.
It's got to be stupidity, because I mean, all right, let's say it was a hydroelectric plant, and what you want to do is knock out infrastructure so the country you're trying to conquer doesn't have any heat or light. But when you shell a nuclear power plant and it goes in a meltdown and there's radiation, now who exactly wins there? All right, so it's going to affect your troops just as bad as it will the Ukrainian people. And then for the next, million years, the area around it is going to be completely unusable, uninhabitable. There is no logic to this at all. And so, yes, everybody, please, let's send our thoughts and prayers and hope that the things the Ukrainian people need a miracle, and they need it now. let us pray for that miracle.
Yeah. Yeah. And, for those of you out there, I know that it's hard to really pay attention to things like this, but we are really looking at, acts of aggression, especially for those of you that don't go as far back maybe in time as Mark and I do. Maybe you don't go as far back as even the Vietnam era. I know that some of you are part of the war in Iraq. This is different in so many ways, and it has significant impact. And if we could all take moments throughout our day to pray for peace and freedom in whatever way you pray, however you do it. I want to piggyback on Lynn McTaggart. And what I want to say is that I think intention with that kind of power can transform the world. Right, Mark?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And,
yeah.
I always have to hold back what I really think of Mr. Putin. So, I take no pleasure.
I saved that for my other show, Power Up with Dr. Pat. I saved that for that show.
Yeah, I never want to see anyone transition to the other side, but there is maybe one person in the world that I wouldn't be inconsolable if I heard that suddenly happened, and I'll just leave it at that.
Well, I think that the ripple effect of this is really targeting one thing that we know is super important to some of the people in Russia. And that is the beauty that they've experienced of great financial wealth. It's now being hit. And if there's one thing that will turn, people in a country against its ruler, it's an economic downturn.
Yes.
It's loss of money. And I hate to say that because I wish it would be peace and good deeds and, let me be Pollyanna Patty. But this is just odd.
Well, look,
and yet my astrology friend predicted it almost to the day.
But, seriously, look at the French Revolution. If, people were starving, rose up. The Russian Revolution. Okay. The Russians ought to be looking at their own history here. People, when they are impoverished by a self-centered tyrannical government, are going to rise up. So, and I don't want to see any bloodshed. I don't want to see any of that. But that's why I agree wholeheartedly with you, Dr. Pat. Let's have everyone send out an intention for peace.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Mark. I know people like to work with you. I mean, the benefit they get from longer sessions, please give them your website. Please tell them how they can contact you.
Absolutely. My website is afterlifefrequency.com, which is just like my new book, The Afterlife Frequency. Please sign up for my newsletter. You can find out about scheduling a phone session with me. And you can also find out, look at my calendar of events. You'll see when the Psychic and the Doc is going to be on, which is every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, and all times in between.
Yeah, we got some great guests coming on, everybody from my friend Dee Wallace to, we decided to mix it up. But when some of our guests are on, we're also going to do readings too. So we're really getting creative and innovative because, man, 2022, it's all about you.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. Pat, thank you for just being the best co-host ever. And thank you for being the best audience ever, everybody.
Yeah, we love you all. We'll see you next week. Jacob, thank you so much for everything you're doing. Daniel for answering the phone, and all of you out there from being so amazing. We'll see you next time. Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning into The Psychic and the Doc with Mark Anthony and me, Dr. Pat Baccili, right here on transformationtalkradio.com. Hey, look, come back next week so we can explore with you more of life's many challenges and learn from fascinating guests. And you know what? Even Mark and me. We'll connect you and discover insights from people in this life and from the afterlife. Extraordinary problems? Yeah, they do. They require extraordinary solutions. But step into the world of possibilities with us on The Psychic and the Doc. That's every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. That's TransformationTalkRadio.com. And don't forget, we're also live face-to-face on Facebook.com, Transformation Talk Radio.